So many men walk blindly into relationships, ignoring the small details that are staring them right in the face. You might think she's the perfect woman, the one who's going to give you peace, loyalty, and love. But there are always signs, clear signals that tell you the truth about her past and what kind of partner she'll really be. The problem is, most men don't know how to read these signs, or worse, they see them but pretend they're not there because they don't want to face the truth, and that's how they get blindsided. In today's world, things are moving fast. Dating is no longer what it used to be. People have options everywhere. Social media, the workplace, night outs, even so-called friendships. And if you're not paying attention, you'll find yourself with a woman who's been with a lot of men, but she'll never admit it openly. She'll smile, she'll say the right things, but her actions will always betray her. You need to be smart enough, sharp enough, and confident enough to pick up on what she won't tell you with words. This video is going to pull the veil back. I'm going to show you the hidden signs, 7 of them, that reveal when a woman has slept with a lot of men. These are not guesses, these are not theories. These are the patterns that repeat themselves, the behaviors that women carry, the slips they make without even realizing it. If you're serious about protecting your heart, your energy, and your future, then you need to watch this carefully, because once you understand these signs, you'll never look at women the same way again. You'll stop being the man who gets played, and you'll start being the man who makes the right choices. So stick with me till the end of this video. And before we jump in, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with another man who needs to hear this. Now let's get into it. The 7 hidden signs she slept with a lot of men. 1. Sexual signals. When a woman has been with a lot of men, her body language around sex often tells you more than her words ever will. She's learned how to play the game, how to use her gestures, her movements, and her timing to keep you hooked. These signals might feel intoxicating at first, but when you look closer, they reveal patterns built on repetition, not genuine desire. Watch her lips. A woman who's had plenty of sexual experience knows exactly how to draw attention with them. The biting, the licking, the slow teasing movements. It's not just nervousness, it's practiced. She's learned that this triggers men instantly, and she'll use it without hesitation. But here's the catch. When you start noticing she does it often, with or without intimacy on the table, you're not looking at a natural sign of her desire for you. You're looking at a trick she's picked up and repeated many times before. Her touch tells the same story. If she's constantly finding excuses to brush against you, stroke your arm, rest her hand on your thigh, it might seem like raw attraction. But men who've paid attention notice the difference between a woman who touches out of instinct and one who touches out of habit. The experienced woman uses touch like a tool. She knows when to linger, how to test your reaction, and how to escalate slowly. And if you've ever felt her hand go straight for intimate zones without much buildup, that's not spontaneity. It's muscle memory. She's running a script she's acted out many times before. Then there's the hips, the way she walks, sways, or dances around you. Some women can't help but move differently when they're turned on. It just happens. But with a woman who's been with a lot of men, that sway becomes deliberate. She's sharpened it. She knows the effect it has, and she uses it like a weapon. Instead of a natural rhythm, you'll catch her exaggerating it when she knows you're watching. That deliberate sway isn't just for you. It's a signal she's sent out to plenty of men before you. And her eyes, they're the most revealing. Prolonged eye contact, pupils widening, a soft flicker down to your lips. These are real signs of arousal. But when she's had so many past encounters, that gaze loses its uniqueness. You'll notice she throws it around too easily, too casually. A deep locked gaze should feel rare and sacred. But if she's doing it often, almost like a routine, you're not the first man who's been pulled into that look. Here's where men mess up. They mistake all these signals as proof of their own sexual power. They think, she's really into me. But the truth is, these signals are often recycled behaviors she's perfected over years of experience. What feels personal to you might just be another repeat performance for her. And when you start connecting the dots, you realize her sexual cues don't always come from a place of real desire. They come from a past that's trained her to use them. The problem with this is simple. As a man, you crave authenticity. You want to feel like she's responding to you in the moment, not replaying a scene she's acted out dozens of times before. When those signals feel too polished, too rehearsed, it strips away the rawness of intimacy. Instead of being swept into passion, you're left questioning, how many times has she done this exact same thing? This is the hidden truth most men overlook. When her sexual signals seem too refined, too deliberate, too easy, they don't just show desire, they show history, a long one. And if you're not alert, you'll mistake practiced habits for genuine hunger, all while ignoring what they really reveal about her past. 2. Emotional detachment. One of the strongest hidden signs that a woman has been with a lot of men shows up in her emotional availability, or rather, the lack of it. When intimacy has been spread too wide, over too many partners, it leaves behind scars most men can't see but always end up feeling. You notice it when you're close to her, when the moment should be deep, when connection should matter, but she holds back. She's there physically, but emotionally. It feels like she's somewhere else. This kind of detachment doesn't appear overnight. It comes from repetition. The more times she's shared herself without building lasting bonds, the harder it is for her to give all of herself to just one man. She learns to keep parts of her heart and mind locked away, almost like a defense mechanism. At first, you might not think much of it. You'll tell yourself she's just guarded, or maybe she needs time. But over time, you realize the wall never really comes down. Daily life with her gives you more proof. She can be affectionate, but it often feels shallow. She hugs you, but it's quick. She kisses you, but her mind seems elsewhere. During sex, she knows the moves, but there's no depth behind them. She's performing, not connecting. And here's the painful truth. Performance is easy when she's done it enough times. Connection, however, that takes trust. That takes emotional reserves she may no longer have. You'll also notice how quickly she can shift gears. One moment she's warm and playful. The next, she's cold, detached, almost indifferent. That inconsistency comes from a history of giving herself away to men without ever needing to invest fully. She's learned how to flip the switch. And once you've seen it enough, you'll recognize the difference between a woman who feels deeply and one who's just learned to move on without attachment. Her conversations will tell you even more. When you try to talk about building something solid, she doesn't engage fully. She avoids depth, dodges vulnerability, or changes the subject. She might even laugh things off when you try to get serious. That's not lightheartedness. It's a pattern of avoiding the weight of true intimacy. Too many past attachments have left her uncomfortable with the idea of investing all of herself in one man again. Even the way she argues exposes this truth. Instead of fighting to resolve conflict, she fights to end the conversation. She'd rather shut it down, walk away, or detach than actually dig into the issue and grow from it. Why? Because she's practiced letting go of men before. For her, walking away feels easier than fixing things. That's the kind of reflex built through repetition, not commitment. As a man, you'll feel this emotional gap the most when you try to open up to her. You share something real, expecting comfort or understanding, and what you get in return feels minimal. It's not that she doesn't hear you, it's that she doesn't know how to hold on to intimacy anymore. Her past has trained her to protect herself by never going too deep. And while she might tell you she loves you, her actions betray a distance she can't cover up. This is where many men get hurt. You think you can break through, that with enough time and love, she'll finally let go of that emotional wall. But the more history she carries, the harder it is for her to surrender fully to one man. And if you ignore this, you'll find yourself pouring everything into her while only getting fragments back in return. The truth is, emotional detachment is one of the clearest hidden signs she's been with a lot of men. It shows up in how shallow her affection feels, how quickly she can switch off, how she avoids deep conversations, and how little she invests in conflict resolution. Her body might be with you, her words might reassure you, but her heart is never fully present. And if you don't pay attention, you'll mistake physical closeness for true connection until it's too late. 3. Comparisons in the bedroom. One of the most uncomfortable but telling signs that a woman has slept with a lot of men is how she handles the topic of sex when she's with you. Pay attention, because this is where her past slips through in ways she can't always control. When a woman has been intimate with many partners, she builds a library of experiences in her mind. And whether she means to or not, she starts comparing. She might not sit you down and say, "You're not as good as this guy." But her reactions, her comments, and sometimes even her silence will scream it loud enough. Let's be real here. If you've ever been with a woman who suddenly goes quiet after sex, gives a half-hearted, "that was nice," or doesn't show that same level of satisfaction you expect, there's a reason. She's measuring the experience against her past ones. When she's had multiple men before you, she's had a wide range of techniques, sizes, styles, and energies to compare with. That comparison might stay unspoken, but you can feel the weight of it in her body language, the sigh that doesn't sound genuine, the quick roll to the other side of the bed, or the lack of eagerness for round two. It all points to the same thing. She's grading you on a hidden scale. Sometimes the comparisons aren't silent. You'll hear it in her casual remarks. She might mention how guys in the past used to last longer, or how someone once did something that really drove her crazy. Even if she tries to dress it up as just talking, it hits different. That's her way of saying she's not fully satisfied, and she's putting you in the shadow of men you've never even met. That's not just disrespect, it's a direct insight into how many pages she's written in her sexual history book. You'll also notice it in the things she expects from you. If she's constantly pushing for specific acts or positions that seem rehearsed, it's because she's had them before. The level of detail in what she wants is a dead giveaway. Women who've been with fewer men are usually exploring, curious, still discovering. Women who've been with many men already have a checklist. They're less impressed by the basics because the basics don't excite them anymore. She's already seen and done it, and now she expects you to be on par with the best experiences she's had. That pressure she puts on you is a shadow of her past lovers, not a natural growth of your relationship. And let's talk about the most brutal form of comparison, downgrading your sex life without directly saying it. She may not tell you outright that she's had better, but she'll show it through her lack of enthusiasm. You'll notice she doesn't initiate as much. She doesn't look at you with that hungry energy. Or she uses excuses to avoid intimacy altogether. That's not just a phase. It's a reflection of her being desensitized. Too many experiences in her past have dulled her excitement, and now she struggles to feel the same spark with you. The psychology behind this is simple. Repeated exposure to variety reduces novelty. When someone has been exposed to many different experiences, their threshold for excitement rises. For her, it takes more to get that same level of passion or intensity she once felt. And unfortunately, that more is often tied to the ghost of men she's been with. So when she's lying next to you, her mind isn't fully there. It's replaying scenes from her past, and you're left competing with memories you can never erase. Now here's what you need to understand as a man. The worst thing you can do is let this crush your confidence. Don't shrink yourself because of her comparisons. A high-value man doesn't beg for validation in bed. Instead, he sets the tone. He focuses on bringing his best energy, his best presence, and he doesn't allow himself to be measured against ghosts. If she makes you feel small, if she's constantly comparing you through her words or actions, you need to recognize that as a reflection of her past, not a measure of your worth. So here's the challenge. Don't be blind to the signs. If she's constantly making comparisons, if her reactions after intimacy feel like a downgrade, you need to clock it for what it is. That's not a random mood swing. That's a history talking through her. And as a man, it's on you to decide whether you want to keep fighting ghosts or walk away and find a woman who values you for who you are right now. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever felt compared in this way? Did you notice the subtle signs that she was grading you against her past? Share it, because these conversations are what keep us men sharp and aware. 4. Emotional disconnect. One of the biggest problems men face every single day in relationships is dealing with a woman who seems physically present but emotionally absent. You know the feeling. You're sitting with her, maybe eating together or just talking, but something feels off. Her eyes wander, her tone is flat, and she's not giving you that warmth you should naturally feel from a woman who's truly into you. This emotional disconnect is more than just a bad day. It's often a pattern that shows up when she's been with a lot of men and her ability to bond deeply has been weakened. When a woman has shared herself too widely, she starts to lose that deep sense of attachment that's supposed to form between two people. Think of it like tape. If you stick tape to one surface, it bonds strongly. Peel it off and stick it again to another surface, and the grip is weaker. Keep doing it, and eventually the tape doesn't stick at all. Relationships work the same way. The more she's connected herself with different men on a deep level, the harder it becomes for her to lock into one man with real intensity. That's why you'll notice her body is there, but her heart feels far away. This shows up in the way she reacts to your emotions. You might be excited about something and she barely matches your energy. You might be stressed, and instead of comfort, she gives you indifference. Her ability to lock into your emotional state and really ride through life with you is dulled. It's not that she can't hear you, it's that she's already given too much of herself to others before you, and what's left feels thin. That lack of connection frustrates men because it feels like you're investing fully while she's only halfway in. You'll also notice her communication is shallow. Instead of real conversations, she'll give surface-level answers. Instead of deep talks about the future, she'll dodge or change the subject. That's because real emotional bonding takes vulnerability. And if she's gone through it too many times with too many people, she guards herself. She's seen how those bonds can break, and so she keeps herself at arm's length. The result? You as a man feel like you're talking to a wall sometimes, and that lack of emotional presence eats away at your confidence and patience. Another clear sign of this disconnect is how she handles affection. A woman who's deeply connected to you can't wait to show you care, through her touch, her words, her support. But when she's been spread thin emotionally, her affection feels mechanical. She hugs you, but it's quick. She kisses you, but it lacks passion. She says, "I love you," but it doesn't carry weight. Men feel this instantly, even if they can't put it into words. It leaves you wondering, am I really the one for her, or am I just another placeholder? Here's the reality. You can't fake true emotional presence. And as a man, you need to stop excusing it. Too many men try to rationalize, telling themselves she's just tired, or she's busy, or she's not that expressive. But if it's consistent, if she's checked out more often than she's checked in, you're not looking at a temporary mood. You're looking at a woman whose emotional depth has been drained by her past. The right move for you is to keep your standards firm. Don't accept a half-invested partner. If she can't give you her full presence, don't chase her for it. Your time, your energy, and your emotions are valuable. Stop pouring into a cup that has no bottom. If she can't connect with you on that deeper level, step back and protect yourself. You deserve a woman who lights up when she's with you, who cares when you speak, and who invests as much as you do. Anything less is a slow drain on your masculinity. So pay attention. That daily frustration you feel when she's not really with you is not something to brush off. It's a sign, and if you don't recognize it, you'll waste years trying to pull life out of someone who has nothing left to give. 5. Constant changes in appearance. This is the most obvious signs that a woman has been with a lot of men shows up in her appearance. Now, don't get me wrong, every woman likes to look good. That's natural. But when a woman constantly reinvents her look, always trying to appear in a new light, there's usually a deeper reason behind it. Men she's dealt with in the past have left imprints on her, and you'll see it in how often she adjusts her style to please or attract. Pay attention to her hair. A woman who's had many partners often experiments with her hairstyle far more than the average woman. One month it's braids, the next month it's short and colored, then suddenly she's rocking extensions. It's not just about fashion, it's about validation. Each change is usually inspired by the compliments or preferences of different men in her past. She's picked up cues from all those encounters, and instead of holding her own lane, she constantly adapts to what she thinks will get her noticed. Then there's the wardrobe. Clothes say a lot about a woman's history. If she consistently leans toward revealing outfits, not just occasionally, but as a pattern, that's not an accident. It's a signal. It tells you she's used to being desired. She's used to the attention that comes with showing skin, and she's comfortable feeding off that energy. Now, there's nothing wrong with confidence, but there's a difference between self-expression and a habit of dressing to attract multiple men. When every outfit screams for validation, it's usually rooted in a history of seeking male approval. You also want to notice her grooming habits. Does she suddenly get a new perfume after hanging out with new people? Does she change her makeup routine every couple of weeks? These are subtle signs that she's used to adjusting herself to different environments, and often different men. A woman who's been with fewer partners tends to have a consistent style. She knows what she likes, she sticks with it, and she doesn't feel the need to constantly repackage herself. A woman with a long list of past experiences, she's always shifting, always tweaking, always reinventing because she's learned how to play to many different audiences. Nonverbal cues matter too. Look at how she acts when she's around other men, even in casual settings. A woman who's had many partners is usually more comfortable using body language to signal attraction. attraction. She'll lean in when she talks, maintain strong eye contact, laugh a little too loud, or touch someone casually on the arm. These behaviors don't come out of nowhere. They're rehearsed through repetition. When you've done it enough times, it becomes second nature. As a man, you have to connect the dots. A new hairstyle here, a bold wardrobe there, an unusual amount of comfort being flirty. It paints a picture. The right attitude for you is not to jump to conclusions out of insecurity, but to observe patterns over time. If she's always reinventing herself for external validation, it's a strong sign that she's used to catering to the preferences of multiple men in her past. At the end of the day, appearance is not just about fashion or style. It's a reflection of where she's been and what she's picked up along the way. And if you're serious about choosing wisely, you can't afford to ignore what her appearance is quietly telling you. 6. Frequent mentions of other men. When a woman has had a long history with multiple men, one of the hidden giveaways is how often she talks about men in her conversations. Pay close attention here, because this isn't about casual talk or everyday work chatter. This is about how her mind betrays her. A woman who's been intimately involved with many men tends to reference them more than she realizes. She might casually drop their names, their stories, or their opinions into her conversations with you. It sounds subtle, but it starts to add up, and the undertone tells you a lot more than her words ever could. The way she speaks about these men carries weight. You'll notice her face light up or her tone shift. She'll laugh too hard at a story that involves a male colleague, or she'll defend a man's actions when it doesn't even concern her. It's almost like those men live rent-free in her head. And here's the thing. Women who've been with many men often carry pieces of them in their memory, and sometimes that memory slips out into conversations without her even realizing. This kind of talk usually shows up when you least expect it. You could be chilling with her, having dinner, or talking about your day, and suddenly she's on a tangent about this guy at work, or a friend she used to know. The details she shares are often unnecessary: how he smells, how funny he is, or how ambitious he looks in his career. Notice how she starts to glow when she mentions him. That's not an accident. It's a residue of attraction, a leftover energy from her past or current entanglements. Now, let me be blunt. When a woman has a history of sleeping with a lot of men, she tends to normalize male presence in her daily narrative. She brings them up as if it's the most natural thing in the world. But the way she does it makes you question where her attention truly lies. She'll tell you about how a male coworker drove her home when she was too tired, or how a friend once took her on a crazy adventure. She might even compare you to these men without directly saying it, but you can feel it in her tone. That's the power of repetition. It seeps into your psyche until you're wondering whether you're just another name on her long list. This habit also creeps into how she speaks about intimacy. She may casually joke about men's habits in bed, or laugh too knowingly when certain topics come up. The kind of confidence she shows in these conversations doesn't come from theory. It comes from experience. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice it immediately. A woman who's inexperienced doesn't have the same ease, the same offhand smirk, the same knowing look when certain subjects are on the table. That energy tells you her history before she ever admits it. The psychology behind this is simple. Our words are windows to our past. When someone repeatedly mentions specific types of people, it's because those people hold a place in their subconscious. And when a woman has entertained many men, her subconscious is crowded with their imprints. That's why the slip-ups happen. She can't completely filter out her past because it's part of her. Here's where you as a man need to hold frame. Don't get pulled into jealousy or emotional reactions. Instead, see it for what it is: information. Her words give you a map of her past, and it's up to you to decide what that map means for your future with her. A high-value man doesn't chase explanations. He observes, connects the dots, and acts with confidence. If she's consistently talking about other men, glowing while she does it, and weaving them into your conversations unnecessarily, you already know what that means. Let me challenge you right now. How many times has she brought up a guy in the last week? If you lost count, then you already have your answer. That's not a one-off coincidence. That's a pattern. And in relationships, patterns speak louder than words. Drop a comment below if this hits home for you. Have you ever been with a woman who just couldn't stop mentioning other men? Share your story, because I guarantee you're not the only one who's seen this sign. 7. Loss of respect. The final and most brutal hidden sign that she's been with a lot of men is this: she struggles to truly respect the man she's with. And as a man, you have to understand this. Respect is the foundation of any relationship. Once it's gone, everything else falls apart. When a woman has been through too many partners, she often starts to see men as disposable. She's had so many different experiences, so many different faces, that one more doesn't stand out to her. It's not about love at that point, it's about convenience. And when she looks at you, she might like you, even say she loves you, but deep down, she doesn't see you as rare. She doesn't treat you like you're one of one. To her, you're just another man in a long line. That mindset kills respect before it even begins. You'll notice it in the way she talks to you. The tone becomes sharper, more dismissive. She doesn't value your opinion as much. She cuts you off, makes snide remarks, or even mocks your ideas. A woman who has respect for you will hold her tongue, even in disagreement. But one who has lost respect will cut deep without hesitation. And that's because she no longer views you as someone to honor, just someone to tolerate. The loss of respect also shows up in how she carries herself around other men. She flirts openly, laughs too loud, gives away attention that should belong to you. She doesn't see anything wrong with it because in her mind, loyalty isn't sacred anymore. Too many past entanglements have numbed her sense of what it means to truly give herself to one man. So she moves carelessly, forgetting that her actions reflect how much she values you. And then there's the way she challenges your authority as a man. Instead of leaning on your leadership, she resists it. She questions your decisions, undermines your role, or flat out refuses to follow your lead. A woman who respects her man finds strength in his guidance. A woman who's lost that respect feels the need to prove she doesn't need him. This is one of the hardest truths for men to accept because it eats at your masculinity day by day. Here's the real danger. Once respect is gone, desire follows. She won't look at you the same way. Intimacy becomes routine, mechanical, or even withheld. She might still sleep with you, but the energy is gone. She might still live with you, but the admiration is dead. And no relationship can survive without admiration. Once she stops respecting you, she starts resenting you, and from there it's only a matter of time before she either checks out completely or starts entertaining someone else. The truth is, respect isn't just about how she treats you in public or how she talks to you at home. It's about whether she sees you as a man worth following, worth admiring, worth cherishing, and if her past has left her unable to value one man above all others, then you're fighting an uphill battle. That's why this sign is so critical to spot, because once you realize she doesn't respect you, you know the relationship is already on borrowed time. So pay attention. Watch how she speaks to you, how she carries herself around others, how she responds to your leadership. Respect can't be faked. It's either there or it's not. And if it's not, no amount of love, gifts, or effort will change that. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this? Have you ever seen a woman lose respect for a man she once claimed to love? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Share this with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful insights. We've come to the end of this powerful breakdown, and I want to leave you with something that will sit heavy on your chest, but also wake you up. Men, the truth is simple. What you tolerate becomes your reality. If you keep ignoring the signs, if you keep turning a blind eye because you don't want to deal with the truth, then don't be surprised when you find yourself in a relationship where you've lost control, lost respect, and lost yourself. Every hidden sign I've shared with you is not just a random behavior. It's a window into her mindset, her values, and her past choices. You need to take them seriously because your peace of mind, your dignity, and your future are on the line. Now here's the harsh part. Most men wait until it's too late. They wait until the disrespect is unbearable, until the connection is gone, until the betrayal is staring them right in the face. Don't be that man. You need to start paying attention now. Start drawing your boundaries now. Start demanding the respect and loyalty you deserve now. Because once you've wasted years on someone who was never truly invested, you don't get that time back. But here's the good news. You have the power to change the game. You have the power to decide what you will and will not accept. You have the power to lead your relationship with strength, with clarity, and with self-respect. And the moment you step into that role fully, everything changes. You'll stop attracting women who see men as disposable, and you'll start attracting women who value you, who cherish you, who are ready to build with you. Understand this. Relationships are not just about love. They're about alignment. If her actions, her respect, and her loyalty don't line up with what she says, then her words mean nothing. You need to look past the sweet talk and watch the behavior. That's where the truth lives. So let this be your wake-up call. Don't settle. Don't ignore the signs. Don't let lust, fear, or loneliness keep you stuck in something that's draining you. You owe it to yourself to demand better. You owe it to yourself to live with dignity. And if she can't give you that, then it's time to walk away. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these signs hit hardest for you? Have you ever seen them play out in your own life or in the life of someone close to you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, share this video with your friends and family, and make sure you subscribe for more raw, unfiltered truth to help you win in love and in life. Until next time, stay sharp, stay strong, and never forget your worth.